I'm reading Chris Bailey's book on how to calm your mind. And in it, he talks about the fact that productivity is really two things. One, it's doing more in less time. The other is figuring out why we aren't getting done as much as we could. The first part, doing more in less time, that's what we always think about. It's if you were to Google time management or how to get more done or productivity hacks, that's what comes up. The why aren't we getting as much done as we could be getting? And I don't mean could or should in like the philosophical sense. I mean like what we used to be able to do, or when we're working at our best, we can typically do. Like that's the other part of productivity. And what happens is our brains are tired and overwhelmed, and we're having a harder time focusing. And so our capacity has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And we're not able to get as much done. And this isn't about striving to get more and do more for the sake of getting more done or doing more. It's about getting the important things done in the least amount of time in the easiest way possible. And so we can do those time management strategies that really work. But if our brains are overwhelmed and super tired, it's not going to matter. And so we need to focus as much time, if not more time, on the second part of that productivity piece, as Chris is writing about in his book, as we do the first part. How can we calm our mind? What are the things that you can start to do to increase your capacity again and get as much done as you used to be able to before your brain was so tired? Things like less digital, more analog, talking to people in person versus on Zoom all the time or texting or through Facebook Messenger. Writing on paper versus typing. Getting outside and moving more. Enjoying activities, recognizing which activities you enjoy, and then doing those. Really being excited about what you've accomplished instead of just checking it off the list and moving on to the next, and moving on to the next, and moving on to the next. I'm guilty of that. Those things, along with a host of others' ideas that are in his book, or you can reach out to me and we can talk through what those could look like. Those will help to lower your stress and overwhelm and anxiety. And I don't mean those necessarily in the clinical sense, just in the everyday sense, which will allow you to increase the capacity back in your brain. Reach out. Let's talk. How can you do that? Because there's both sides of the productivity. There's not just the fewer distractions, no multitasking, write down your top 3 priorities every day part. There's also the other part of how can we get our brain to relax, be more calm, so we can actually accomplish more of the important things. Reach out. Let's talk.